benefit from the reviving of the sector. Where was it done? It was strategically implemented in 39 communities that are on the front line of the Sahara Desert. How was it done? Through training to improve the quality of the value chain, by improving access to commercial markets, but also by strengthening, or if not, creating links between public and private sector. Gum Arabic is still a very promising commodity, and we hope to replicate the success we have so far in order to really build the resilient landscape and livelihoods. Why is that? Because this value chain can really generate revenue for communities, generate foreign exchange, promote sustainable agriculture, bring food security, and of course, combat desertification and climate change. To make this possible, SMEs really need to link up with larger, bigger companies, but also they need to tap into the resources provided by institutions as the GEF or the World Bank to make sure that they really benefit from the larger companies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's some great points, Majiwene there. And looking at the screen, I think it reinforces the view in this room that those people closest to the ground, closest to the action, are those people that we think in this room should be those that we focused on. And I think, Gaultier, you also have some views about who we should be engaging within the value chains. On the UNCCD Business Day, we looked at the role of different actors in the value chains. And so from your perspective, who are the most critical players in land degradation neutrality, and who should we be supporting that are perhaps overlooked?
Thank you. Yeah, very good question. I think we discussed with previous panelists the role of the consumer that are changing, the role of corporates. And also, I would like to, again, being part of a financial institution, to say that financial sector is really changing a lot, with really a focus on impact, on meaningful activities that contribute to the global goals. So the capital really is out there and needs to be tapped as well, and to finance this transition to more sustainable land use. But as you're asking, Matthew, they also need, in order to mobilize this financial commitment of the private sector into sustainable land use, to support, I think, a very specific category of actor, which are the so-called restoration entrepreneur. We speak a lot of the problems, land degradation, and we understand the drivers. We speak a lot of the solutions, agroecology, regenerative agriculture, integrated landscape approaches. We also speak then of mobilizing finance, but I think all these solutions that have to be financed have to be implemented on the ground. And within the supply chains, I think there is a need to reinforce this new generation made of eco-entrepreneur, social entrepreneur. And being the fund manager of the LDN fund, over the past years, we have really seen the emergence of a new sector of these entrepreneurs who are the one able to work with the smallholders to give them access to finance, technical assistance, to the market. They are connected locally, but are also the one able to make the overall business model effective and profitable by combining different sources of value creation that are productivity enhancement, better quality, were both provided by technical assistance, better certification premium with environmental and social benefits able to be eligible to these premiums, accessing to payment for ecosystem services, which sometimes, if you think of carbon credits, can be a complicated process, and these entrepreneurs are the ones that can lead the way for many smallholders. And then also negotiating with traders, implementing processing units to bring the value also at producing level. So I think if we want more finance and more impact, we need more of these entrepreneurs. And the good news is that there are projects, there are entrepreneurs emerging. Women, the youth, there are great assets everywhere. These people are there. So We need to mobilize finance, but we need to help them grow and become larger companies, profitable companies, like we have done over the past 20 years in the renewable energy space. And the LDN fund, with long-term finance and technical assistance to the entrepreneur, is really here to support this scale-up.
Thanks, Gauthier. And I think this role of the restoration entrepreneur really is the link, isn't it, between the smallholder, the agribusiness, the technology, and is the one entity that brings it all together. In my notes here, I've taken that we should perhaps focus on a session looking at the eco-entrepreneur or the restoration entrepreneur for our next private sector meeting. So thank you very much for that. I'm being gestured here that our time is out, but I would say great that you've been able to put these responses up. I'll reflect briefly on the first question, which was, what's your first thought of the private sector? Hopefully, that will have changed a little bit from hearing the case studies that you've heard, because they were rather negative, I think, in the first instance. But thinking about the role of the smallholder and what the private sector can achieve, I think it's very much a more optimistic and empowered approach that we can look forward to in transforming business and value chains. So please join me in thanking our panellists here this afternoon, and thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you, everyone. We'll now have a short 15-minute coffee break right outside the room. Thank you.